because a lot of writing tonight. Well, some of you definitely a lot of it, but I don't even know how to suggest it. Typically, I'm just here only to be
Welcome to Conspiracy Unplugged, the ultimate conspiracy. We are in a simulation. Are we? Hello, gentlemen. What if the truth that you both believe was manufactured? What if the tech you trust was planted? This isn't fiction, it's the story behind the story. We pull the plug on mainstream narratives and shine a light where the others won't. From shadow governments to digital currencies, nothing is off limits. Welcome to Conspiracy Unplugged, where secrets get exposed and dots start connecting. Welcome, Rob. Welcome, Landy.
Hey, Leslie.
I'm
Hello.
discombobulated today. Can you guys tell?
Just a little. I have a conspiracy theory about this.
She's not really
Okay.
here. Hot.
Landy, what is your conspiracy about this? Because my mind
My
is fried today and I feel like I cannot function.
I have a conspiracy theory that that you have packed a full schedule for the day, and that it is coming to bear right now.
Wow, that's a real conspiracy. Wow, that's a cliffhanger
I know.
conspiracy.
I
You-
know. This is
Heavy
a
stuff.
it's not
heavy
a conspiracy theory. It's just a conspiracy. You conspired
it's a,
against yourself with a
I,
packed
I
schedule.
I actually did conspire. I give myself some time typically, and today I everything that's supposed to be going right, Rob, Landy, he already knows, has not been working out or functioning. Everything, and I typically don't pack a lot, and I ended up packing recordings. I ended up packing so much stuff today, and Landy was supposed to record with me earlier today, and I never pressed the record button.
Wow. Listen, sometimes it's part of the simulation. Everything in my life is going upside down today, and it's not even about efficiency and function. It's just like my whole world's just kind of spinning out of control. Some days it just does. You just go shoo, 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 shoo. And then other days it spins back in. And who knows who's pulling the strings, Leslie? Who knows? But I do know that I'm a big believer that conspiracies. We talk about conspiracies, and I feel like we're entering the age. I'm going to call it the post conspiracy age, where it's no longer. It's almost like everyone talks about it's like conspiracies, and now it's sort of becoming like we know there is truth in them. I mean, I
Yeah.
was thinking about the whole Russia hoax thing, and talk
Yes.
about a story that won't quit. I mean, that started in 2015. You know, what
Wait.
were you just replaced by a picture of David Gokhshtein?
I'm telling you.
happening? What's happening here?
There's
And look,
something
I've got
going on
lights
here.
shining under me. I've got angelic light coming up from the floor or something. I don't even know.
Oh my god.
I
Now
don't even
you
know
guys
what's
see
happening.
what's happening? Like my everything that I'm why on my show, if I put myself,
Look at me. I'm like,
to turn off my camera, why is it David's face? Like, okay, what the hell is a conspiracy on this? What
why
is
do I have
happening right now?
why do I have white light across my chest like a band of angel light? It's
This is
shining on
funny if
me.
I continue talking like this. Is this weird and we're talking about conspiracy theories?
Yeah, I'm a little weirded out
Who are you?
actually.
The two of you. I'm the only life form here. What I was
Oh
going to
my
say
goodness.
was the Russia Gate thing. It's like, people said it was a hoax at the time. I did. I remember saying to friends, something doesn't add up about this. I didn't know why. It's just like, it doesn't make sense. Remember at the time, I'm talking back in, when he first was running and it came out right before the election and then post-election, first term. And I remember thinking it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And then I remember thinking, because people say he's like too stupid to run a political campaign, and he sort of fell into it. And you remember how the liberal comics and everyone made fun of it, like, I hope you run because you're such a
Yeah.
goofball, you'll never do it. And then he wins. I'm like, the same guy who was too incompetent to run a campaign somehow was competent enough to orchestrate a collusion campaign with Putin, who's like the master behind the master, like, the master puppet master. And then it never felt right. But cut to now, like, it's really clear from the Durham Annex stuff that's coming out. It's super clear that a lot of people knew what this was and intended it to happen and intended to cover it up and intended to get the press to like bite on it and intended to mislead people that not just there was a fake dossier, but the whole thing was an attempt to direct attention away from Hillary's email crisis and set Trump up. And they knew it. So when people go conspiracies, I think we're living in an age where people are like, it's really hard to trust anything you're being told by any official source. I don't care if you're a MAGA Trumper. I question everything they say. Everything that comes out of the White House, I question. I don't care who's in office. Everything that comes out of the U.S. government, I question. Everything that comes out of the intelligence agencies, I question. I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's no longer conspiracies. Now we're just right down to the fact that everything seems to be like a lie wrapped in a lie.
Yep.
Exactly. And right in front of us. And it's like there's no more hiding. There's no shame. They're doing it right in front of our eyes. And people are still gullible and blinded by it. And even if it's right there, the truth is right in front of us, people will say, oh, no, that's not the reality. That's not the truth. That's just a conspiracy. And we're like, come on, it's right in front of us. They're going to continue to do it and do it over and over until we allow them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Biden. And a good example of that, Leslie, was the thing with Biden. No, it's sheep fakes or whatever they call them. He's fine. He's doing great. His energy levels are high. What you see, don't believe what you see. Like you said, right in front of you. The average person was going, something's wrong with this guy. Like he's wandering around. He can't finish sentences. I know he stutters, but that's a different problem. Like he's forgetting the people who died, who he went to their funeral a few days before, aren't actually in the room. And everyone's like, what you see here is nothing to see here. And you're right. We're told over and over, don't believe what you see. But I think more and more, you guys, I think people are now to the point where it's like, most people are like, I don't believe much of anything anymore. Everybody's a skeptic about everything, because what else would we be?
Exactly. So on that note, gentlemen, I do have a question for you both because, I was reading something today about the NSA. They operate a large-scale VPN exploitation project to crack large numbers of connections. So there is a real conspiracy theory, and some have confirmed facts surrounding the NSA's involvement in VPN not explosion. They're exploiting us. So the Operation VPN exploit, a deep state backdoor. The conspiracy theory summary, I'm just going to summarize it for you guys, is that the NSA runs a secret program designed to infiltrate and exploit VPNs, which is virtual private networks globally, under the guise of national security. They allegedly harvest massive amounts of VPN encrypted traffic, crack the encryption, and gain access to private communications, especially from journalists, political descendants, foreign governments, and crypto enthusiasts. So,
Yeah.
Landy's
Yeah.
probably, so Landy, is this just a conspiracy or is this possibly a reality?
No, look, of course they're involved in. You don't need to crack the encryption, for instance. There's no reason to crack the encryption when you can just get NGO funded dollars that have been funneled into all of these companies and all of these data centers that are acting as VPN vectors in this, and just gather the server side data, right? And many companies already, there's very few VPN companies that will not respond to records requests from the government. So, this is we don't need to crack the encryption to crack open the code. Now, that of course can be done from the business side of things, but why, as a nation state, would you want to crack some of the tunneling protocols? Well, because foreign nationals use them and infiltrators use them, and there is there's very little protection though, because from the entry point to the VPN to the exit point, there's ways in which, and methodology in which you can track. And then there's the business side that they can get involved in that are just government vectors. But why would you try to crack some of those tunnels? Other nation states use them, right? So the conspiracy is often that it's all about the surveillance state, but in reality, it's a mix, right? Some of it is surveillance state, some of it is monitoring other state actors in the game,
Mhm.
and then there's many pathways to get the job done.
So here's a question. Do you think, and it's interesting, we're talking about, you said to some extent, what's the conspiracy, Andy, in this case, and how much is it a surveillance state and whatnot? I mean, so this is a question that people were talking about for a while during COVID and right as COVID was ending, was how much of it was, there were those who went all the way to it was intentional, that it was an intentional leak either by the Chinese or by us out of Wuhan, that it was an intentional test, which again seems extreme. Like you're kind of risking potentially wiping out a big part of the global population if things go wrong. And others believe that once it was out, that our government weaponized it intentionally to create more of a controlled environment to see how far they could push people, how much they could control them, to kind of create a more submissive population. What do you guys think about either one of those? And others say no, it was just a lot
You
of
know,
bad decisions and fear and political power mongering, and none of it was
I
intending to like screw people.
I'm kind of glad you touched on this. So I do have a rebuttal question to that. Well, it's not really a rebuttal. Do you guys think that maybe they created clones during the COVID saga and all that stuff, or right around that time?
Oh boy. Oh, okay, let's
That's
address
the reason
one
why I'm
thing at a time
asking.
here.
Okay, so I guess we're mixing things because I do have a little treat after Landy answers this.
Oh, really? You got it? All right. So, I like that Rob brought that up, because these two things are not mutually exclusive, and it's all about surveillance, control, and essentially guiding a population. Me personally, I fall on the more extreme end of it was 100% a a um, a malicious act, without assigning blame to whatever nation state, whether it was us or China or a combination of the two. But I do believe that it was a test. I fall in the camp, and people hate me for this. I fall in the camp that it was never as dangerous as people thought it was. It was a supercharged bug, but not as dangerous as we thought it was. And the real vector was control and confusion, to control the populace, to confuse
Mhm.
people about what is true and what is not. When it came to the data, when people tried to dig into the data versus flu versus COVID, into vaccines, and what we saw is humanity at large across every nation was very easily manipulated
Mhm.
into doing what the government said.
Mhm.
And then you can clamp down and
Not me, by the
monitor
way.
communications. I didn't either. I never received
I
a
just want to.
vaccine.
I just want to say as a sidebar, I was in Los Angeles. I did not spend one day inside my home. I
Oh,
went
I was
out
out at the
every
beach.
single day, even when they put the city on lockdown. I went
Yep.
out, and during lockdown, I would see the cops getting people who were out, and they would come up to me, and I had my phone, and I was doing a version of my This Rob Nelson live show then, and I'd be like, "No, I'm streaming this from my show." And people are so easily manipulated. The cops would talk to me and tell me what was going on and what they were doing. And then they said, "But you really shouldn't be out because this is curfew." But I was like, there is not a day in this stupid game they're playing. I got kicked off beaches. Like, I was like, I'm on a beach. What is COVID coming off the sharks? Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like, it was
I'm in
so
my
lame
car
what you're
alone.
saying. It was all about how much can they make people do what they say. Wear a mask, even though common sense told you. I was in the protests, the Black Lives Matter protests. People wearing cloth masks, thousands of people. I'm like, who in their right mind thinks that a cloth bandana is going to stop a virus from spreading? Like, what rational person would think this would work? I can basically spit through the thing. But nope, I got my mask on because
Yeah.
that's what they said. And it was just like, wow, you people are really gullible. Like,
Well,
sorry,
David,
I think they
it's
made a
the
lot of it.
programming is so strong, Rob, that you still likely see people in California driving alone with a mask on in their car,
Yep.
which is bizarre.
Yep. I had a guy running up a hill in Griffith Park, which is like a big outdoor place for horses and humans. No bikes, no whatever. The guy who donated made that the rule. And it's like these like old West trails, big, wide dirt trails wind up into the foothills. And I was riding a horse and I came down and this guy was running shirtless in shorts with a mask on, running up the hill in the summer. And he glared up at me like, where is your mask? And I'm like, dude. In my head, I'm just like, it was that look, the look they give you, the no mask look. I'm like, dude, I'm on a horse. So first of all, I'm like 6 feet away from you because I'm 6 feet higher than you. Secondly, I'm on a horse. Like, thirdly, we're in the middle of nowhere and you're running uphill in a mask. How stupid does it get? Like,
that is freaking wild. Tammy, welcome. Hey, girl.
Hey, fam. How are you? I'm loving this topic, by the way. It's
Yes,
Hi,
awesome.
Tammy.
and we
Hi.
hi,
and we
Tammy.
are
Yeah.
going to get
Hi, nice to
deeper.
meet you. Oh, I'm telling you, you guys talk about this COVID stuff. I was listening on my way back home and same, like when I would see people driving with masks on alone in the car, I'm like, take that stupid ass mask off your face. Here we didn't lock down. We were in a state that did not, but the surrounding states did. And even so, like I'm thinking to myself, you guys honestly think this mask is helping you? It's not, because people are like screwing with them constantly, moving them, taking them up and down. Like there is literally nothing beneficial about doing that. There's just not. So I have my own theories about it. I think it's ridiculous. It's one thing that I did not myself get the jab. And my dad is a pharmacist. So he really tried his hardest to talk us into it. And I was like, Dad, I love you, but absolutely not. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but that is one thing I did not do. And I'm thankful that I didn't, because I have very strong views on that too. So
I have a
yes.
conspiracy about the shot, but before we go to conspiracies, I want to play something for y'all. We will be
Is
right
this
back.
clones? Are we about to see clones?
It's the best.
No, it's not close. But
All right.
Oh, it's all messed up over here. You know what messed it up? When I came up here from Central America, everyone was cloning, right?
Yeah.
They were cloning everywhere.
Cloning? What is cloning?
You know, it's artificial people, right? But they were the government.
Okay, so you're telling me that there's artificial people here. They're clones among us.
There was, but there's not now, I don't think.
So were they taking our jobs? Is that what's been making it difficult for people to prosper or find something?
I don't know about that. Because I don't think there's any jobs anywhere.
Okay, how do you know about cloning? Because I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I do and have done some research about cloning and, you know, the facilities in other countries, etc. How do you know about it?
Oh, I know a lot about the government.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a world builder, right? I'm a world builder on coordinates. That's why I came up here, because my coordinates moved to this street right here. But the thing about it is, you know, when I came up here, they were cloning, right? And I see everybody, artificial people, right? But I'm a reincarnation. Right?
Really?
Yeah. But they won't take my blood or anything like that. They won't.
Why not?
I don't know. They won't take reincarnation's blood.
That
I
is
think
very
that's
interesting.
right, because they say that reincarnations are better donors than anyone. I think it's pretty good.
And you said right now there's no people, those people that have been cloned among us right now?
You know, I don't think so. Not now.
What do you think happened to them?
they come to life, right? They come to life. When they're asleep, their spirit comes out of their, because their spirit, they put their spirit in a box up here, right? It comes out in forms.
Very interesting.
People out, right?
Very, very interesting. Well, I appreciate your time. Again, my
There
name
are people amongst us.
I'm sorry.
I love that video, Leslie. That's the best.
Wow.
The way
That
they
gives that gives conspiracy theorists a bad name. You know, you talk to a whack job. He's reincarnated. They don't take reincarnated blood, but it's the best blood. But the soul comes out. But the clones were here but gone, but they're not, because when they sleep, I don't even know. Like, I feel for the guy, but like, yeah, clones. I
I'm
believe
still
that aliens
unclear.
could be among us. I'm not buying the. I'm not buying. I'm selling on the clones.
What I'm still unclear on what he believes happened to them. I'm so confused
Me
now.
They went away in their sleep. They went away in their sleep because their spirits came out of their head or something.
I have so many
Oh.
questions. So once during the moment, I was perplexed. Look, let me tell you, it was hot. It was so freaking hot that day. And because we're doing some humanitarian work, right? And we're going around, we're not seeing people. And I can't really tell you guys because the videos and everything is coming out soon. But then we saw this one in particular, and I asked him, can I interview you? And he was like, yeah, of course. So I sat down with him. And then he started going off this COVID tangent, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so perfect for the conspiracy show. But now I have questions because I'm like, okay, elaborate more. What do you mean you were sent there by coordinates? What do you mean, like the clones? Like, just, I have so many questions
Hey,
now. So
Leslie, come on. You don't really believe in the clones, do you?
I don't, okay.
A clone would be a replica of one of us. It would be two people who look exactly the same, are
Well,
exactly the same.
okay,
You
so
can't even
did
do it
you,
with pigs
It
very
would
well.
be your doppelganger.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I do believe that they have made some, and let me tell you why. Because one of the gentlemen from that pop Will I Am, or they did a few years back,
From the
they
Black Eyed
actually,
Peas?
yes, one of the guys, he actually posted a video where they were going to this facility, and he was making this AI clone or something about him, and then they were talking about the cost, they were talking about, and that was a few years back. The crazy part of it, this is when nobody was talking about AI, nobody was talking about cloning, nobody was talking about anything. Now that it is very mainstream, I don't want to say it's mainstream, but now that more and more people are talking about it, I've gone back to look for these videos and I cannot find it for the life of me. Isn't that wild? Now when it started coming out on like, for example, Jamie Foxx, that people are like, oh my God, that's a clone, that's not really him. Or like Joe Biden, that's a clone, that's not really him. Once all that started coming up, I wanted to reference that video back. So I went back to look for it, and I can't find it for the life of me. But I'm like, I remember that video when I was doing research for a college paper a few years back. It was like AI and religion and how does it intertwine, etc. So I did a lot of research. That's kind of where I started learning how far back AI technology, all of this craziness goes. And that's where I found the videos of celebrities paying or creating clones, and then a facility that was very close to the border in Canada. And now I can't find anything. It's like that information has been wiped from the
Well,
internet.
I will say this, Leslie. One thing that I did see, and I have had questions when I've seen Joe Biden and, just a number of different people, but I do remember seeing a video as well. It's not specifically cloning, but where the government uses very realistic masks that they put on people that they legit they look real. Like you would think that that person is not in makeup and has basically, for lack of a better word, a mask on. So I have seen that video where they utilize things like that. But and I want to say it was a video of like an ex-CIA person that was talking about it.
Mhm.
Which I don't know that they necessarily would, but yes, they do use realistic like covers or masking.
See, I
Maybe
find
Landy
that
can.
I find that super believable.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't, Leslie, I love you, but you and that guy are giving conspiracy a bad name. Like they're gonna think we're all whack. And John Legend out there, I agree they experiment with everything, he said, but they did sheep. Why not people? Because people are a lot harder to clone than sheep, and the sheep don't last very long when they clone them. So sure, technically, I guess we have the technology to reproduce an organic mimic of something, but to successfully reproduce a human is a lot, and I guess they probably are trying. I don't think there's a bunch of duplicate people walking around out there.
No, see that I don't, because I don't think that they are that far advanced in completely cloning human beings, but possibly there are some examples walking out there, and like you said, sheeps don't last long. Maybe these clones don't last long either.
Well, that's
But
what that guy was saying, right? Where'd the clones go? You go, I don't know. I guess they have short lifespan. It lasts like
yeah,
24 hours, and then they're gone, fall in a
yep.
ditch, disintegrate.
Maybe, maybe he saw something, because this border town where I am at, there's a lot of conspiracies around this town. There's a lot of like sci-fi crazy stuff that happens in this town. It's wild. I mean, it probably can drive people nuts and crazy. Next time you guys see me, I'm gonna be nuts. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
And what's the most believable, realistic, practical conspiracy that most people still say could be a conspiracy? Would it be UFOs, the being not from here?
Or
I
flat
mean, would that
Earth.
be the most? What's that?
Maybe that the Earth is flat.
That's the most realistic one.
I got questions. I did a deep dive on
Wait,
that,
all
and
right, now you got. Oh man, here we go, man. I'm gonna be the only one left standing who's like a rational conspiracy theorist, and I think I'm pretty out there. Like like wait, the Earth is flat thing. I don't get that one. Like, I mean, if the Earth was flat, you'd eventually run off the end of it.
But what if we can never reach the end of it because they don't allow us to reach the end of it?
But you'd eventually go around in a circle. You'd come back to where you started. I mean, if you started in Boston and went all the way to Asia and kept on going and come back around, you'd come back across the Atlantic and end up in Boston again. You're saying that's a flat line, and then it just keeps. I'm serious. Like, oh, Tammy left us. She bailed out on answering the question of like,
Hey, what happened?
Tabby left, like
Oh, it's like, oh no.
She's like, I'm out of here.
she was like, I'm
So
out of here.
the
Landy,
flat Earth stuff.
yeah, but
Wow.
we're talking about flat Earth, Landy, as well. Do you believe in clones? Do you think there's clones? And I ask Landy sometimes because his background.
Look, I do not doubt that they have been attempting to clone humans. But what I do doubt is that there is any viable clones out there walking around.
Mhm. I'd agree
Body
with that,
doubles, right? Body doubles, on the other hand.
Body
That
doubles,
is-
like Tammy was talking about, you're saying.
Yeah, like actual lookalikes, like other non-cloned humans who are,
Right.
you know,
And you
it's
could use surgery, right, Landy? You could also use surgery to do that, not just the mask
Yeah.
that Taylor was talking about. You could do plastic surgery to rebuild somebody to look more like somebody else, facial structure, bones, whatever.
Yeah, and like I'm sure that you all have either referenced already or you have seen the video of the former CIA costume designer that was making all the masks, right? And basically, you can become anybody you want to be. Part of that,
Yes, Landy.
it's that a lot of that has advanced quite a bit, but if you really want to nail it, you're going to have them get plastic surgery. I mean, we saw many different versions of Joe Biden of various heights and various ear shapes and various chin shapes. And it's like, how many times are they going to roll this guy out? Because
Oh, wait, Landy. So now you're in this too, right? Now I'm the last man standing here who's holding on to some. So you think there were multiple Bidens?
they definitely rolled his doubles out, and we know Trump has doubles. We've seen the doubles. They
What?
vary in different weights. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Just
They
like in
have to have
movies, you
doubles.
have stunt doubles in movies as well, for certain action scenes.
I mean, no one can explain how Joe Biden was pictured in Rhode Island on a live stream. They're live streaming from the beach, yet there he was walking around White House grounds. Like, really? Like, he wasn't even wandering. When did he learn to walk again? Like, this is crazy. Like, he was clearly like it, and we know and have known
So
for a
that would be
long
a
time.
long distance double. That wouldn't be a double that goes to the podium and gives a speech.
I doubt that there was doubles giving speeches, but there was definitely doubles rolled out for the public there. You look at unless he's wearing some sort of elevated heel shoe, how tall his height varying on level ground with his wife. Like there's very clear pictures and video, and there can be arguments about, well, it's if you look at the optics of the lens through this type
Yeah,
of
well, those are
f-stop with
credible
this type of
arguments.
lighting, but it's not, because if you draw the horizon line in the correct way, when there's actual editors that have done this, you can see that he's been different heights. So there's people out there that this was the narrative that was being battled before they ever acknowledged that they wanted to oust him. I think they would have used the 25th Amendment on him if it got too bad and they couldn't roll him out any longer and have to have a double go up and speak for him. But otherwise they wouldn't have kept rolling him out with Bidenese, right? And but it was probably getting to the point where they were either going to 25th Amendment him or try to run him and replace him. But it was just too much after that debate.
All right, so Leslie's into the clones. Landy is there's actual body doubles of the president. Tammy is the Earth is flat. I am truly the rational one here. I believe in the simple, good old-fashioned conspiracies. There was a conspiracy to kill Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy,
Yes.
maybe Martin Luther King as well. COVID, there was a conspiracy to cover up whether, I'm not sure, Landy, it was weaponized release, but to absolutely take advantage of it once it was out and to see what
Yes.
you could mess around
And
with.
to weaponize human beings too,
Yeah.
by injecting the freaking COVID into you and also changing your mRNA and all that stuff. What I mean,
Leslie, it's 100% effective. 100% effective. It's a safe 100% effective. You will not give it after you take this COVID shot. Don't you remember? They told us this.
No, I remember it was 3
I never
stages.
got the shot. Yeah, but to me, it's
one, it will keep you from getting it, and everyone bought that. Then when it didn't keep you from getting it, just like that, they said, well, actually, it doesn't keep you from getting it, but it does keep you from spreading it. So that's really important because it doesn't stop you getting it, but it prevents other people getting it. Okay, people were like, oh, sure, okay, it didn't really stop me getting it, but sure, it'll stop me giving it. Then when that didn't work, they're like, well, it doesn't really stop that either. You should still get it because it won't be as bad if you get it. At that point, what rational person could possibly go, oh, that makes sense? Like, who wouldn't just be like, you are full of shit? But people still did it. People still went for it.
It was all bullshit is the way I look at it. But I'll tell you really quick before I got kicked after the whole flat earth comment. I think somebody was like, get her out of here. But no, what I will say one conspiracy, and we did bring this up last week. I have a conspiracy theory of Satoshi Nakamoto and Steve Jobs that I do feel is believable. And I have gone down that rabbit hole with that one. And there are a lot of things that are suspicious to me. Not saying that he was him, but I'm wondering if he did have something to do with Bitcoin. I kind of wonder.
Well, that
wait. And on that note, I have a conspiracy since we're entering Bitcoin. Do you guys think that Bitcoin is the first conspiracy? I mean, do you guys think that Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency coin ever created? Because I have a conspiracy that it's not.
No, it wasn't. We know this. But this is verifiably true that it was not the first cryptocurrency created.
Now, if you research, she's gone
no, we
again.
lost Tammy again.
Really don't want her. But if you do your research and you Google it, use Chat GPT, what is the first cryptocurrency? Everything says Bitcoin. But you and I, Landy, know that it's not, right? Because
the others were considered failures. That's why.
Yeah.
But
I
wasn't
think there's a
Digi?
legitimate argument that I do think there is a legitimate argument that government, the deep state, whatever that is, but the deep state, that's no longer to me a conspiracy. That's a fact. There's a deep state. Call it what you want. I mean, it's there. It's not some mythical, elusive thing. In every, I think, major country, there is an element of the government that is buried from view and insulated even from those who are elected or in power in many cases. That so-called deep state. I do believe it's very possible that they created Bitcoin, that was a government intelligence agency creation. I do think there had to be a Satoshi. It's just possible that Satoshi was partly connected to, say, the defense or intelligence agencies. And I wouldn't surprise me if it was sort of part of a almost a deep fake on central currency. And then it would ultimately not surprise me if they tried to exercise control back. My theory on it, and Landy in particular, since you worked in certain unnamed places, wonder, and Leslie, though you too, because you're in the crypto, that it's possible it backfired in that they didn't realize how hard it would be to control it. And if they can't amass enough control over it through ETFs and other things, they won't be able to control the currency. But I think they thought they could.
I, kind of a modification of that is pretty much in line with my theory. I do fall in the camp of there was definitely special access projects that were involved in if not the initial creation of Bitcoin, the proliferation. Look, I was around in the early days of mining, and I'm still involved in mining. And I can tell you that there's a lot of interesting individuals that you will meet. And the government has a way of putting pressure on you when they think that you're supporting something like the Silk Road and you're mining, right? That's they know who you are. They can see your IP addresses connecting to the network. So, there was, and especially when you're spinning up, company operations to support mining of this new fangled thing, they definitely have played a role. They utilized it to track people, and they set up honeypots all over the Silk Road. Like this is known. So there's definitely special access projects that were involved. Now, if it goes back to the very beginning and inception idea, that's where we can theorize maybe there was some sort of government involvement. I don't know if that would be Satoshi or not.
It's interesting though you say that, because Taylor Ferber, who's going to be doing a show on the network too, a new person doing a show on Gokhshtein network. Yeah. She interviewed recently Rong Chen. He's the founder of a blockchain called Elastos, but he was one of the early Microsoft employees. I think he was the first Chinese Microsoft employee. And he told a pretty compelling story. And I know it's a story secondhand, but he worked at Microsoft with a man who was the father of Wang Dao, who was the first footnote on the white paper. And the kid was 17, just out of high school, and told this guy Rong, because he was asking what he was doing after school, that he was going to work on, and he didn't call it cryptocurrencies. He called it, what was the word? Something current money. It was funny because it would make sense. It was an intuitive way to describe it. Like he says it in the interview, what he calls it. It's not cryptocurrency. It's it's like a version of digital money, but said even more.
Cash or DigiCash?
No, I mean, not a sexy term, as if this is early, it doesn't exist, a currency that's not physical, a non-physical currency, or whatever. He describes it essentially as cryptocurrency. Now what we would call crypto, and 6-7 years later, Rong runs into the kid again with the dad and says, you're the white paper's out. He says, you're the first footnote, or no, it's 10 years later. You're the first footnote in the white paper.
Yeah.
Are you Satoshi, or do you know Satoshi? And the kid's not a kid anymore, but he'd known him his whole life, and he just doesn't answer. But he clearly went away. He went away somewhere. To your point, Landy, he went somewhere. He didn't just go work at a company. He went away somewhere for a while and worked on this. And his is the first footnote in the white paper. So it makes sense that some of this could have been going on, as you put it, in sidebar, things, or, I don't know. I guess we'll never really know, but I have a deep feeling that somehow the government was involved in the creation of it. I don't like that feeling, by the way.
Well,
but that's my conspiracy.
That
I don't
is
can I
like that.
offer up? Can I offer up a why I think that the government would actually want to do this? Because the central banking infrastructure here in the United States needs a hedge, right? From the governmental side of things, and Congress needs a hedge. And if this was something that was spun up out of an SAP, then it's part of national defense, right? And part of that defense is defending our currency. And you have to have fallback options because our currency can be via the bond markets and all kinds. We're intrinsically linked as being the worldwide the reserve currency of the world, essentially the world's reserve currency. You need a check and balance on that in case other actors and other nations or infiltrators try to destroy that system. You must have a check that you can fall back on to resecure that system. And I think that that's what we're watching play out right now with the treasury reserves, the states getting adopting treasuries and passing legislation, the one-to-one backing with the stablecoin issuers. And if you link Bitcoin to that, now you have a backed treasury asset that is a vector for the dollar that then you tokenize one-to-one and rehypothecate online. So you have speed of money still going, and then you have all this stuff. And just to it's kind of my thoughts on it is like you would want to have they war game constantly, and they don't just war game about physical conflict, right? They war game out economic conflict as well, and that's what we've been seeing for a very long time is economic conflict, and that's what Trump is waging right now is economic warfare right now, and he's winning. And of course, the left is setting their hair on fire and shaving their heads again and screaming about it, and that's okay. Let them do it because it's happening anyway. Now it's about, for me, is what do we lose along the way for this securing of the dollar as the world reserve currency in terms of our freedom and control over our own path in life. Man, that was
Well,
deep.
only if
Sorry.
they succeed at creating a central bank digital currency, which I'm sure they will do it. I'm just saying, I do think Bitcoin, if enough of it can be held outside of institutions or major players like that, I do believe it's possible that it can retain an autonomy. And to my earlier point, they may have thought they could use it effectively and control it. They may be discovering it's harder to control than they think. But I do think the government either way is trying to control it.
I always tell Landy and Hotep that I also think Bitcoin was created by the government. I think Bitcoin was created as a Trojan horse to see how the human population would adapt to it, how it can be controlled. And although we think it is decentralized, it's really not. And that is the Trojan horse that leads us into one world currency that is eventually going to be ran by one government. And we are going to be moving into that type of one world digital currency.
No, I don't want to be part of that. That's bad news. At that point, they just shut you off. At that point, Tammy goes away, not from the screen. They just take Tammy away. Tammy wakes up tomorrow morning and she doesn't have an identity. She doesn't have a driver's license. Her credit cards don't work.
No, it's like they're going to control everything. We're going to have that digital ID and, that score and all that stuff. That's coming pretty soon, people.
Yeah, I mean, I went through just a moment ago and just to refresh my memory, I took a look at Satoshi's white paper. And of course, Satoshi was building on those who had built before, right? Going all the way back to eCash or DigiCash from, conception was in the early 80s. and implementation, where it was an actual functioning cryptocurrency, was in the 90s, early 90s. And it was a company that ended up failing. And then of course we have the famous Hashcash, which Adam Back created, and that was used as an anti-spam tool for cryptographic signatures to kind of help prevent spam. We had quite a few others that never actually reached a cryptocurrency type of what we would consider a cryptocurrency. And then there was RPOW, reusable proof of work, which was Hal Finney, and he was working on that back in the mid 2000s, prior to Bitcoin and prior to corresponding. And this is the cypherpunk movement is old, right? This is an old movement. It was the cypherpunk movement technically really got rolling out of the late 70s. It was like mid to late 70s is when it really started to pick up steam into the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s.
Well, yeah. And when did Neil Stephenson write Cryptonomicon, which really, outlines a lot of that? What was that? The 80s?
Yeah, I think so. I want to say you're correct on that, but don't quote me on that. But I think you're correct
really,
on that.
I mean, that's, again, not conspiracy theory. I think Neil Stephenson went forward in time and came back and wrote these books like Snow Crash, Cryptonomicon. I don't know how any human being 35 years ago could have projected what he projected to be so accurate. I don't know if you guys have read them. So read Snow Crash. Snow Crash, it seems like it would be a really cool novel about the future that was written 4 years ago. That would make sense until you realize he wrote it in like the 80s. And it's like, how the fuck did you know any of this shit? How would you even imagine this? There was no infrastructure for it. None of this existed.
Yeah. And I mean,
what if he wrote that book in the 80s because he was able to teleport to the future and then
that's what I'm saying.
Time travel.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe there's not clones, but I do think I'm willing to. None of you did time travel. I'm willing to buy the time travel one. I'm not buying the clones. I'm not buying Tammy's flat Earth.
I mean, Rob, we just said it that they put that shit right in front of us, for us to see, and then we're so blind to it. Like recently, what was that governor, that person that they put? They were talking about that we do have like time travel and all that stuff, and it was posted on the government website. That recently happened, a couple of months ago? Do you guys remember that?
No.
I don't know that I saw that.
Landy, you remember that, right?
Yeah, there was just it was a short paper, and it was all theoretical about potential for time travel and quantum physics and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But I mean,
that's the one we know is
they put it right there in our face.
Yes.
Well, that's one we know, right? We know time travel is theoretically possible. It's pulling it off. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe somebody has. That's one that's not. I'm sorry, Tammy, on the flat Earth one, you disappeared when I asked you why. But that one's just hard for me to get. That's even harder for me to get than the double Trumps walking around.
I think, though, when you think about it, the thing that got me, I guess, because my husband, he got his pilot's license, and, I looked into the aviation aspect of it. And when you hear about the radar, what it can pick up and how far out it has to pick up a plane, and if the Earth is spinning the way that they said that it is, it absolutely does not make sense that we are on some spinning planet that's spinning at whatever rotation it is. I have all the notes that I took for that first conspiracy theory space that we held, and the math isn't mathing on it. So I'm like, it really doesn't make sense. So with radar picking up planes, how far out they have to pick, and it has to be a direct line to them. And when they pick them up so many miles out, it doesn't make sense how they're able to pick them up so far out. And when you go up in a plane, do you see any curvature? I certainly don't. So you would think if they're saying that curvature is every 8 miles, I believe it is, then you're going to be able to see something. If you're 35,000 feet in the air, you're going to be able to see it. So I don't know. I kind of feel there is something to that. But when you talk about time travel, that is the one thing I wanted to ask you guys. When I think about that, I think about when you travel, let's say you travel over to Europe or wherever you may go, And you have these elaborate churches that are built, all of these buildings that have been there for thousands of years. How in the hell did they build those things? Without the infrastructure that we have now, without the capabilities we have now, how did they lift those things? How did they move them? How did they like, how did all this happen? To me, that doesn't make sense either. Because I mean, these intricate, beautiful places, and I'm sure that they've been renovated over the years and things like that, but how did they do what they did without the technology that we have
Well,
today? Plus, I don't think we landed on the moon.
Oh boy.
FYI, that is a big
Um,
conspiracy too.
I mean, look, I look at these and I can think of like logical explanations for, you know, ancient society. Is we a lot of their history in terms of writing is still lost to time and is still being deciphered for you know, for what we have found. And we may not be privy to all of the techniques and tools that they were using at the time. Um, and you know, because there's incredible things that we figured out. I mean, even about what is it, Mayan blue paint? Like, how did they manage to create a nanoparticle that could, you know, a nano paint that can survive, you know, acid rain and like all this stuff? Did they stumble upon it, or were they smart enough to understand how to create some of these things, right? But like I would, the reference to time travel kind of came up with like the Snow Crasher stuff, right? You'd think that it would be written like 4 years ago about the future, right? But we've been working on cryptographic systems for securing information for as long as, you know, throughout history. I mean, as far back as the there's what's called non-standard hieroglyphs, right? You know, it's all about concealing and concealment and encoding, and you know, you get all the way up through to I don't know, the Polybius squares or Caesar ciphers and stuff like that. It's all about encrypting information because that's a useful tool. You don't want to expose your position to enemies. You want to communicate orders and like all this other kind of stuff. So it's embedded within society to encrypt things and information. So you could see how, if you're theorizing where things could go even now, you know, using AI, like we could probably come up with some theories that'd be pretty close to the mark.
Yeah.
Maybe not exact though, right?
I think that's interesting. And you know, again, and Tammy, you know, the thing with the flat Earth, I'm going to need more convincing, but I do want to say the radar thing has been pretty explained, though. I mean, it's why low-level objects fall off the radar, because the curvature of the Earth prevents the radar from continuing to pick them up. And high altitude, because it's like standing on a mountaintop. You can see farther over. And then they also, you know, they have I don't even know what it's called. Landy, you might. It's called skywave radar, whatever. They bounce it up off the ionosphere, so it can bounce back.
The ionosphere, yeah.
So
They've calculated
the radar thing that can be, a lot of this stuff can be explained in my view. The harder stuff to me to explain is the stuff Landy's talking about, which is, and you know, and look, the clone thing, I'm just saying, Leslie, I'm not saying they're not trying. I just think we're not there yet, but maybe we are. Listen, I'd love to see my own clone. Probably a lot of people die in the cloning process, whoever gets used.
Yeah, I think we're not there yet, but I think that we are far more advanced than we think we are, if that makes sense.
Hybrids. There's definitely hybrids walking around. They don't last long, but you know, they've been trying to work on hybrid human animals for a long time in various methods. But now, since cracking the genetic structure for humans and many other species, you know, that's like some of the skunkworks labs in the 90s, after this kind of revelation about DNA, you know, like really became popular. It was like some of the skunkworks labs in various countries, like they're putting together these horrible human hybrids and stuff like that. Like that to me is all testing for how can we start to experiment and create the cloning of human beings.
Exactly. I'd like to be the horseman guy. You know that one? What is the Manitor, whatever it's called? You got the head of a human, the body of a horse. I'd go for that.
Yep.
Yes. You know what, Rob? I will make sure that I get information for you next. I was just trying to find my notes, and I'll have them next time, and I'll give you the aviation aspects of it. And honestly, even my husband, Dave, was like, wait a minute. Like,
I'm
it
just
doesn't
saying,
make
look closely
sense.
on the radar
And I'm like,
stuff, because
exactly.
a lot of people have answered the question of why, if the Earth's curved, can radar do what it does. And as I said, some of it's intuitive. Low-flying objects will fall off the radar because they go around the curve.
And see, there are a few documentaries. The one documentary that I watched on it, they were actual air traffic controllers, retired, that were speaking about it. And you know, my uncle worked for the FAA, and I would love to pick his brain on it too. But yeah, it's very interesting. So, do I believe that the Earth is flat? No, not necessarily, but I do question things. I'll say that. There are other conspiracies that I feel very strongly about, that I'm like, there's just no way that this happened.
Landy, do we live under a dome?
No, unless you consider the ionosphere a dome, but it's a dome that goes around 360 degrees around this circular planet that we live on. In my personal opinion, like one of the biggest ones is I have a little bit of a hobby as a photographer, and you have to set up an astro rig if you want to track the stars, and you wouldn't have to do that if the Earth was flat. Unless space is a projection that the aliens have been just fooling us. Yeah, you know, they're projecting the space, and it's got to move around so they keep us convinced. Yeah, right. So I mean,
what if it Landy, is true? You know, what is that captain that flew to Antarctica? His last name Bird. That was, you know, and the way that he described everything, and the way that everything was
mixing flat Earth with inner Earth,
right?
And firmament.
And then the way
this is where it loses me, because you have to have all of these other things to go on, right?
Yeah.
But you know, look we're just in the Truman Show.
Exactly,
everyone.
We're in the Truman Show, and maybe we're in a simulation. And
think about it. A lot of things started disappearing. A lot of things started changing, etc. The minute that NSA came to be. So who really runs who really runs everything? You know, images, pictures of space, whatever. NSA, the NASA.
Yeah, but
I think
they got competition.
I think that like mission control is up. Mission control's up on the moon, probably. That's where they're at. Maybe. I don't know. But in the moon, you guys, listen, you drop your signal when you leave your phone in the house and walk out to your freaking mailbox. I guarantee your signal will drop. But you're telling me with the technology they had in the late 70s that they went to the moon on that? Give me a break. They did not. We have never been to the moon.
We don't have time.
We haven't.
I want to have that one. That's a good one. Did we go to the moon?
Hey, and then now all of a sudden we're gonna test nuclear weapons on the moon.
Wait, what? When did this happen?
Come on!
Oh my God! It's
where's this news?
Hold on.
Is this news on like John's blog .xyz or something? Like where did this come from?
Leslie, did you make this one up?
Help us.
No.
Is this along with the video, the celebrity video of clones that you can't find?
That guy you interviewed has a blog. Now I know where this is all coming from.
That's right. It's the guy in the park.
Leslie's been secretly meeting. She's been secretly meeting with him daily.
To him. He's actually pretends to act like he's some guy, but in reality, he's got a stash of documents, files. He sends them to Leslie and just lets himself pretend to be like whatever. He's like secret source. He's like her, you know, like in Watergate, like the Deep Throat thing or whatever.
I'm trying to find the information, but it's NASA, and they want to put a nuclear reactor on the moon.
NASA, yeah.
Oh my gosh, we've never even been to the freaking moon. We haven't been there, guys. Spoiler alert.
Julie's backing you up.
We haven't. I'm sorry, we haven't. And the way that the astronauts, and I'm gonna say something else just because I have to. Katy Perry and her little crew of chicks were not considered astronauts with what they did.
That one I'll agree with. They went up in this little barely
capsule.
Go into space. Yeah,
oh my God.
I agree with that one.
Exactly. They had like 5 seconds of training and they're calling themselves astronauts. I fell out on that one. I'm like, y'all play too much.
I have a response to Julie's response in the chat here where she says, it's true. She's not kidding. It was on CNN. And my response to that is it was on CNN. So I don't believe any of it. It must be fake.
Oh my God.
Wait, Julie, do you watch CNN, girlfriend? Oh, Oh, I gotta go.
All right.
I don't know what the hell is happening with my
I
stream.
love that David just appears over
Why
at
did he
Leslie
just pop in?
periodically.
Yeah, like what is that? What is happening? Is David trying to like
No, it's
come
like
in? Does he want
he
to
wants to
fight?
fight. No, it's because since we're sharing the channel, that picture, it's uploaded. I upload it so when he goes offline, it doesn't show the letters. But I didn't change it to show mine on this show. So if I turn
Right.
it off, it's like, okay. So do you think this is weird, Tammy? It's like I was doing this to the
I
guys
think it's great.
earlier,
I
but
think you are
Yes.
challenging all kinds of gender identities, which digital AI is going to have us doing anyway. There are going to be clones of me. There are going to be all kinds of me's out there in the digital universe. I just don't think they're going to be
yes.
walking around in bodies.
And Julie said, but mainstream media ran the article, which means that it had to be pushed through mainstream media somewhere. But you guys, you see, now they want to go.
That's a whole other topic.
Yeah, but
Mainstream
now you
media.
guys see
Oh.
how now NSA wants to go to the moon to test nuclear. And then all of a sudden, the next thing it's like, oh, we're blowing up all this stuff and they're going to be in the moon. How the hell
Well, and they thought that this whole thing, the whole thing with the earthquake, was it an earthquake? In
Oh,
Russia? What was that?
Landy,
And they were saying, oh, they were
Yeah.
testing.
they were
nuclear
testing
shit.
nuclear bombs and shit underwater. And that's why, the tide per landing. That was a conspiracy per landing.
Hey, I
Oh,
can get
man.
behind that.
Anytime
just
Landy has a conspiracy like that, I'm like, that right there.
well, I need to congratulate you, but also now that you're gender fluid between Leslie and David over here, it's just not my jam. We can continue to discuss these topics, but we're gonna have to leave the the gender identity politics out of it in the future. No, I'm just kidding. Look, I'm going to load up a conspiracy for you. And that conspiracy is that it is not actually a conspiracy, but that we have too many competing interests for any one vector of control. So what we have right now is the conspiracy theory is that the United States is making a move to consolidate power around the world, not other countries making moves to consolidate power over the United States and thus over the rest of the world. I think it's us that is perpetuating this, and we're going to do it through the export of the dollar. That's what I got for you.
Yes,
to think about.
Landy. Yes, he
I'll
put
think
it
on that
so beautifully. That's what I think so too. Gentlemen, and with Landy leaving us with that conspiracy bomb, that ends. We're at top of the hour. I'm running a little behind. I have to go and speak crypto at City Council. So, Rob, I don't know if we told you, but I am going to be running for City Council women. So if you can't beat them, join them. So I'm going to get into politics and all that stuff.
Awesome.
Who knows?
Good luck.
But I'm going to go talk about crypto and how we can bring crypto to the border and funnel money like that, right? Wait, Chris.
That came
I
out
just
wrong.
about choked. I
came
just
out
about
wrong.
choked on my iced coffee
Yes.
there. Oh my God.
Yes.
Wait,
The
that came
views
out wrong.
expressed on this program are not shared by everyone on the panel.
Don't say that. Don't say that at the City Council meeting.
Yes.
Don't
We
say
need a
that, Leslie.
disclaimer.
And this way we can funnel money.
No,
She's not going to return from the City Council meeting. It's going to be a clone when she comes back.
God.
I mean,
This has been fun, you guys.
the president of the
Yes,
United
Rob.
States already did it through the Trump token and coin. I mean,
Oh boy.
prime example there. Education 101 right there. This is where Landy starts cutting me off.
I love it. Yeah, Landy's like, he's got that cane, that thing, like whatever that show used to be where they'd pull him off stage. That's what
Yup.
he's trying to do to you right
Typically
now.
Looney Tunes cartoon. Just
I'm showing my age there.
Typically, when I start talking like that, Tammy,
Gone.
that's when they start putting in the chat, shut her down. Like, stop it.
Well,
Look
now
at
they have
David
two of
thinks
us.
we're
Now they
drinking.
have
Put him
two of
up,
us,
Leslie. Put him up. Look, put his picture up.
Oh,
What did he
David.
say?
What did you get
David,
through?
Tell
how
There
David,
the
he
do you
is.
want to
hell
fight
There
me,
he
how
is.
did
David?
I get stuck with this image? Like, why am
These
I
all
stuck with this
reflect the
image
views
on
of
my
one David Gokhshtein. Everything said here, David Gokhshtein 100% believes. Isn't that crazy? That's
Oh my god,
crazy.
we're not gonna be funneling money, okay, people?
He sounds a little weird.
What did he say? Taylor has me blocked on her phone. What is he saying? I don't even know what
He's
he's
talking
talking
about
about
Taylor
there.
Ferber, and I don't know how she has him blocked on her phone.
I
That's why I
mean,
was saying interviewed wrong Chen. I don't know. He
oh my
likes a
gosh.
picture of himself though.
Next time,
Oh my gosh, he's talking about
this
our
is gonna be
pictures,
me next
Leslie,
time
that we're
interviewing people on the
beautiful.
street. So if I show up with a video like this, let's talk about it.
Okay, we'll know we'll
I
know
love
you're a
it.
hybrid.
You guys won't.
She's been
All
cloned.
I
right, you
have
guys.
been cloned. On that note, thank you again, Rob, Landy, Tammy, for coming on this conspiracy theory with me. I will report back. I will post. If I don't post tonight, then I was taken by City Council, City Hall, and all of them. Otherwise, I'll show
I'll
some
come get
signs
you,
of
Leslie.
Just no funneling,
life.
Leslie. No funneling money over the border.
No,
Okay.
that's not what I
Every-
meant. I didn't
No,
mean
Talking
funnel
about
just
money.
funnel.
I
say
meant
it.
like
No, I know. It's a great way to move money legally over the border. No
there we
Western
go.
Union. No Western Union time delays and charges, all of it instant free.
It's easier
Funnel
than
that money
Western
right over.
Union. Bye, everyone. Don't forget to tune in to the other channels on the Gokhshtein News Network. There are many other shows coming on. Rob, congratulations for joining the team. Taylor as well. Very excited to have you guys all. And stay tuned for more shows on the network. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
See y'all.
Good
Bye,
night. Take care.
guys.
This is all Biden's fault. The Biden administration made men weak.
To the Bitcoin ecosystem. We're saying Bitcoin's a valuable asset.
Oh, what is it? 100 men versus one gorilla. Welcome to the breakdown.
Valuable company in the world right now is NVIDIA.
China gonna have to bow down, man. China is going to have to bow down.
Good evening, and welcome to the nightly recap powered by Gokhshtein News Network.
To see a lot more movement on ETH, ETF inflows on ETH with Elon and his company. My intro. This is Crypto News with Julie Kennis, and I am your host, Julie Kennis, and this show is powered by the Gokhshtein News Network.
Look at the moves that Trump is making right now.
Coinbase and PNC are working. Foundation of White Americans. But the issue with black folks is we're American. The same thing that makes you great makes you weak.
There's a lot of writing tonight. Well, some of you definitely a lot of it, but I don't even know the words out of that.
Welcome to Conspiracy Unplugged, the ultimate conspiracy. We are in a simulation. Are we?
What could potentially be the next move for Bitcoin. So this is telling me that the next move is getting loaded up. Hello and welcome to the Friday market wrap up.
presented by the Gokhshtein News Network.
Welcome to the Meme Report, where the community speaks and the tokens rise.